Hi, this is Vinnie Vincent. You've just heard me play some of the solos from All Systems Go, my new album out on Chrysalis Records. Today we're going to try to cover as much of the style that I do and what makes up the patterns I use, such as arpeggios, sweeps, alternate picking, rhythmic right-hand picking, pull-offs, hammer-ons. We're going to try to cover everything. And before we do, let's try to get in tune for ourselves so we can play together. And here's my E. B, G, D, A, and E. In this section, I'd like to show you some of the scale patterns that I use and how I break the licks down. Basically, in the key of E, we go to the 12th fret, and it's based on a minor pentatonic scale, and I throw a few notes in, and chromatically, you can hear how it starts to develop. Let me show you the notes in the scale so you can begin to see what notes are available to you. Extra notes that you can play without being caught up in the same old thing. We'll start with the major third. We'll also add the major 7th note, which usually people don't use on a blues pentatonic scale. Dominant 7th, 6th, 5, your flatted 5, which is your pentatonic. Major third again. And if you were really to run them together and get the right rhythmic pattern in your own style, if you would, or try to learn what I'm doing, and the right hand pulse you would pick up. Let's take another shape, also in the key of E. And it's a pretty easy one if you really just check it out. And put together, you can get this. Let me show you a bit of the neck patterns that I use and how I view the guitar. And I usually take a span of 4 to 5 to 6 frets. Let's start up here at the 12th fret. We're going to go 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. From these 5 frets here, when I look at that, I pretty much see every note in there I can play, just about every note. Chromatically, it all works. You know, when you hear it in the context of a pulsating pattern, you can really hear how that works. Believe it or not, all the notes actually do work. And also, I'm looking at the section from these 4 frets right here, which is 7, 8, 9 to the 12th. There's four frets here that have a full range of almost every note, again, you can play in this pattern. Then I'll take that and I'll see these 4 frets, number 6 through 9, and I see another E pattern in there. Also, chromatically, flat 5s and all that stuff can really be used in there also. Then again, I will see another pattern right in here, and when I play on a E pattern in this section here, I basically am playing over a B natural chord. Okay, and that's how I see my E pattern here. Let me show you some phrases in each section of what I just pointed out to you. This will be random. I'll just pull it out of my hat and see what we got. Okay, that was in this 5-note pattern here, the spread right here. I'm getting basically almost every note. I'm getting on your first string, on your second string, on your third string, almost chromatically, right down the E scale, but it's the way you place it and how you can put it together that makes it work. Let's go down to this 4-fret span right here. Now we can do a similar lick, using the same notes and picking, and you'll see how that works. Okay, now when I see E and this pattern right here, I'm going to add this dominant 7th note right here on the 10th fret, and I'll get this one. And that brings me right down to my 3rd right here. Also, when I get down to this pattern here, I see basically a B chord. And realizing when I see a B chord, I can play it here and I can play B here. Let me clarify when I say I think in the terms of playing in the key of B. It's not really a B chord I see, but it's actually an E major 9 chord, which is this. But I see the pattern and the block of scales and pattern as far as the position on the neck. I see it as this. And I'm also seeing a B7 note in there, okay? And if I play these notes in this scale, I in my rhythmic pattern would hear. And there you have notes that are generally not in the scale, but also there this time to give it just a little bit different tonality that your ear sometimes, it perks up when you hear something a little different. I know mine does when I hear someone play something that, wow, I never thought of using that. Again, in the key of E, you also have another section of notes that are completely open and free to use, and you could be playing in the key of D and open up again another world of melodic intervals, again that would catch your ear in something that was slightly a little bit more interesting than playing just in the key of E. And in the key of D you have major 7th, major 6th, 9s, and basically what you have is here. Okay, and you also have it here. All right, picture this D here, and you're gonna, actually let's do this. Picture this D. Okay, and let's think of this triad here. Let's think of this triad. Let's think of this one. And let's think of this. Okay, now if you want to use some of those, you have and you also have it here. Now again, think of this right here. That's basically a D major 7th with a B minor 7th. Now, you know an octave of this is here. Okay? Take that same shape and come up here, and you have okay, and that starts to connect your E notes to your D notes. Okay? And you have okay. Now those are all melodic ideas that open up another door. We have one other interesting place we can go that we haven't touched on yet. But if you can envision this chord, and I'll turn on the volume so you can hear. It's like an E major 6th 9, and it sounds like this. Okay, when I see that, I see this scale. Okay, it's really your E note flatted, one down, and you can see that this chord here, and you can also envision an F sharp chord over an E bass. which gives you. And again, let me give you just another scale pattern and another position that you can also use in the key of E, which again has another interesting tonality all its own. It's an E minor scale with the major 7th note. I'd like to talk to you a bit about my picking technique. It started out when I was quite young, and I used to use all my fingers to pluck the notes on the guitar. And my parents always listened to country and western music, and my father played steel guitar, and my mother sang at times, and they always had musicians over the house most of the time. So I'd hear country and western players most often, you know, in my early youth. And I was fascinated by chicken picking, you know, and sometimes to do that, you know, you use your other fingers. But it worked itself into my style over the years, and so I can use alternate picking and switch to my fingers at the same time. Here's an example of how it works with my middle fingers picking the strings with the alternate picking. Let me show you the arpeggio with the added 3rd finger in there for picking. Let me demonstrate that, playing a D chord pattern in triads over an E bass. So you still have, okay, and it's still your root. This is what we're discussing of all these licks. E is still your root. Okay, picture this chord. Then, okay, and you're going to get. I'll do that again. Still over this. Okay, and you're getting. And you can bring that up again into the E chord. Same chord, same moves, only in the E. And that is still happening over your E bass. So you have another interesting rhythmic concept. Also, tonality-wise and harmonically, it opens up another world. Many times people approach me, you know, young guitarists wanting to, you know, learn what I do. And a lot of the questions is, how do you develop the speed in your playing and that pulse that goes along with it? And my recommendation is something that, you know, I learned on, which is very simple. It's just a chromatic 4-fret movement on each string with alternate picking on this hand. And you start to develop it. You can pretty much stay in one position, but it helps as you know, move up the fret. You know, you're getting a bit more speed in your right hand. But that would help you to start increasing your picking style. Now, all I did there was to just move the pattern down a few strings. And if you do that a number of times a day, you'll start to feel the movement, you know, starting to become easier and easier. Things like that. If this exercise of that 4-note span really starts to put you into your own rhythm anyway, and then as you're feeling that, it becomes easier and easier. When I'm looking for speed picking, I use an alternate picking style, which we all know is. And you know, you have your alternating lines that you can. When I want the accent, though, in the alternate picking, I add the second finger, which gives me an added accent in the rhythm of the phrase. So I'll start with alternate picking, and then you'll hear. And when I added that, you heard the added extra pull on the rhythm. That rhythm of that pulse moving is gotten by using the second finger and sometimes the third finger as pulls on the rhythm on certain strings. So you get that, you just have that in-between rhythm that you can't get when you do alternate picking. So that helps me achieve a little bit something that's different when people listen to it. They hear, hey, how'd you do that, you know? And it's really basically from you know, chicken picking stuff, which was really done by most country players, and you know, like for myself, I used it, incorporated into my style, and now it's become, you know, a major part of it. So we have the alternate picking again. And here's what it would sound like with the picking in it. And if you want to try to incorporate the extra pull and the picking fingers here, a good exercise would be. And the faster you do it, and again, you can. That whole movement combined with the alternate picking and all the open areas you have to really fish out what it is you're looking for do open more worlds to you. I'd like to introduce to you at this time a little classical run that involves string skipping and an E major triad and an E flat diminished run, and it sounds like this. And sometimes you'll hear violin players play that, and slowly demonstrated, that would sound like this. Let me show you one more riff here that uses the same string skipping and the rhythmic pull. And fast it would be. What I'm doing really is I'm getting your E major scale going backwards.